Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only, the Blue Blur, in this case, Sonic the Hedgehog here, and once again, I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Ape Escape for the PlayStation 1, and as well as from that, the digital version only exists on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So, last time, we've essentially manage able to completely done with the second half in terms of the forms of Specter Land, and as a result, we deal with the final boss in the game, which is of course Specter himself. It's actually rather easy, the way I think about it, but it wasn't until we all discovered about the fact that in order able to defeat Specter for real, that basically, as a result, you remember that ending cutscene after that credits roll? Basically, the professor's trying to tell us that there are some more monkeys laid around. So today, for this video, is the fact that we're about to be hitting back into the previous levels, because obviously that we need to capture even more monkeys before you're able to actually stop Specter once and for all. So for instance, the first level we're going to be dive right into is Jungle River, because obviously we haven't collected everything in that particular level. But first, before we dive right in,
a new gadget is completed.
This is a magic punch that will extend and retract. I will send these over. Try them out in your training space. If you don't clear the training, you cannot advance to the next stage. Well, good luck.
Seems to me that this is actually the final gadget that we can able to use. This is by the forms of the magic punch, which this allows you to able to actually extend the actual punching contraption, and basically it extends and then it actually reaches certain places. Like for instance, with those two switches right there, normally you can able to actually utilize the forms of the slingshot if you wanted to, but ultimately the game will force you to able to use that current gadget, which is of course the magic punch. This is actually a very cool item to have, even though it usually appears in the late game or something like that, which I was expecting they were able to actually make that gadget appear during the course of let's just say in the final few stages or something, but either way though, that's not the end of the world personally, because after all, we've now finally learned that particular gadget for reals. So anyways, let's see right here, we've only got 8 monkeys to capture, and I was quite surprised that I've never actually got any of those Specter Coins at all. So the good thing about this is though, since we've now actually access to every single gadget in the game, now we can able to actually do some more stuff in certain levels. So yeah, like for instance, about the fact the matter is though, since we still managed to have ourselves our propeller gadget, so that means we can now able to actually just make our way for this giant leaps of faith when it comes to likely making this area, and on top of that we're able to actually find the first Specter Coin. And in fact, it's actually not too far from here, because all you have to really do is just the fact that you have to simply use the propeller, and from here you're able to actually find the first one. So as far as the other lot is concerned, well, basically though is the fact that there's actually another section that we can actually go into until whatever we get to right now. But first off, I just want to point things out is the fact that, well, something's worth mentioning though is the fact that this particular process of able to actually capturing all of the monkeys in every other level in the game, well, basically it will take me a lot of hours to able to actually get this process going, especially considering about the fact that after all, we've almost done with this game basically. However, there's one thing I will have to admit it though right away, that well, there was actually that one thing that I would able to like to mention, that basically, well, before I get into more details onto that though, well, today's date, of course, is the 31st of January today, in this case, the final day of January in 2023. So you know what that means, folks? Tomorrow will be the February month. So in some cases, though, I'm very looking forward to see how February is going to turn out to be. So, but either way, though, let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point right now, because every once in a while is the fact that we actually stumble across a mini-boss, which appears to be by the forms of this particular weird tree looking. And basically, that's how you're essentially going to do with this fight, is that you have to use the stun club to be able to actually damage the actual tree branches' fists. And then once in a while, though, is the fact that once you stun these tree branches, then it's your job to able to equip the magic punch until you're able to actually deal with its weak spot in the center of the tree. that way you have to do it with him for about a few hits on him. And then when you've done so, then the monkey is yours to capture. So, it does take a while to able to actually deal the amount of damage to that particular tree. But regardless of such though, when you get the hang of it though, it's actually not too bad. Well, despite the fact that you have to be very careful of the actual close range attacks. So, but as far as saying goes, I think that's about it. So, now I think we're going to have to do that for about twice in this level, so keep that in mind. And on top of all that stuff though, oh, there's another Specter Coin just right over there. So, yeah, I will promise you guys, I will try to get the remainings of those Specter Coins for a certain amount of time, just to ensure that we were able to actually gather every single, you know, Specter Coins throughout the game. I mean, you don't necessarily get them all though. Like, if you manage able to get all of those Specter Coins, I think you'll do absolutely nothing aside from your percentage completion. But if you do manage able to get up to like 40 of those Specter Coins, then you will able to get yourselves the final minigame in the entire game. Because usually, relatively speaking, there are only about 3 minigames in this particular version. Because I say version, because technically speaking, that the PSP version does have 4 minigames, which is pretty odd considering about the fact that that was the only new thing they added in on the PSP version. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, I think that's as far as I can usually describe about it. In fact, I did somehow manage to able to play the PSP version of Ape Escape 1 on my own time, and the only thing it does manage to bother me a little bit is the fact that not only because of the fact that there's more loading screens than places that didn't need to load separate than the original, in addition to make the load times made longer in general, and there are occasional moments where the game sometimes lag a bit, and on top of that, with the lack of second analog stick, or in some cases though, with the lack of 2 analog sticks in mind, that basically though, using gadgets is okay enough. Well, apart from the fact that trying to capture the monkeys on the PSP version is actually a lot difficult and finicky at the same time in my opinion. Because usually, when it comes to the PS1 version of Ape Escape to me though, it just feels incredibly satisfying whenever you do manage to able to like, well, captured several monkeys for certain stimulations. But as a result of that kind of stuff though, maybe because so far I'm actually really enjoyed this game so far, especially considering that this is all new to me and everything. So either way though, because I consider it able to actually just be looking forward to able to actually playing a whole bunch of Ape Escape games. It's a shame that the actual franchise itself is now, you know, gone for the sake of the forms of, well, there are certain spin-offs for sure, but it's just about the fact that, personally speaking, I feel like that the entire Ape Escape trilogy is by far the greatest series in my opinion, especially because, well, this is all fun and unique at the same time, so, but I digress. So yeah, now we've actually got ourselves a slingshot, so that means we can now able to capture that monkey up there, and on top of that, we have to use the propeller gadget in order to able to get up there. So originally though, as far as the actual processing goes, that originally I was gonna able to go back into the revisited stages just before I get into Spectre Land for the first time, but then I found out about the fact that that might take a while, especially because it's a good thing that we did somehow saved up for you know, once we able to obtain the magic punch for later, well, usually relatively speaking, that we actually got the magic punch just before we go back into the previous stages, because there are certain monkeys, they are, you know of the forms of those special containers, like for example, that we've already come across into one on Crumbling Castle level, or Trick Castle, for those if you lived in the UK or something like that. Basically though, is the fact that you will be able to actually utilize the magic punch if you ever stumble across those special monkey capsules, so, but you see why as soon as we're able to actually stumble across into that familiar object if we go back into, like, you know, Crumbling Castle level, so, yeah, you just have to be very careful of not to get closer to the forms of those little tree fists, because otherwise, if you dare get hit, you suffer knockback, so, anyway, so, yeah, as I said before, is the fact that today's day is, of course, the final day of January today. And you know what that means, folks? Yes, SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake has recently came out today for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC Steam. So, and for what I've played, I actually had a lot of fun playing on it. I mean, yeah, relatively speaking, that the graphical style looks remarkably similar to Battle for the Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, of course. I do apologize if my commentary is a little bit slightly iffy at this point. I think it's probably because about the fact that I was trying to able to realize that I somehow got my dry throat. So I do apologize for that. So, anywho, yeah, because while I play it, I actually really enjoyed it, like I said before. I'm not exactly sure what the reviews is going to turn out for this point yet, but I'm sure that it will be up by the time when this particular video has been uploaded, so... But I digress. So yeah, let's just go ahead and swim from over here to get ourselves the third Specter Coin. So, as far as the last one is concerned, I think it's definitely where the last monkey was going to be located. Because I honestly have no idea why that I somehow skipped it. Well, mind you, because about the fact that I do need a required gadget in order able to make it happen. So, and the good thing about this level to me though is that, well, since I sometimes managed able to struggle with the forms of the actual boat controls, well, luckily I can just simply able to swim my way to different sections. So that'll make it come in handy for at least as far as my recollection as far as this is concerned. Especially because I always love to able to break the actual like rules when it comes to likely. Although, I'm not exactly sure why I've managed to bring this up, because either way though, I honestly have no clue of what's going to be the thing as far as I'm usually concerned with. Well, despite I might as well get hit right there. So, but that's okay, because hopefully though, the actual last monkey and the last Specter Coin is actually not far from here, so... yeah, by simply just going through here and just make sure just kill that Venus flytrap kind of enemy. And there we go, we've got all the Specter Coins on this level. And of course, we can never forget the final monkey to capture. So we'll just activate the slingshot here and capture it like so. Well, despite the fact I just misjudged my depth of it. But there we go, Jungle River is now concluded. So there we go. I should also mention about this is the fact that between the UK version, then the likes of the USA version, they all have like different names of different characters and different stages. I think I already somewhat touched upon it from mentioning about that during the forms of in the past few videos or something. Well, mind you, it's been about 5 days ago since we've actually last played this game for sure, after dealing with Spectre, so... But I digress. So, anyway, so the next thing I want to mention, in regards to the forms of today's discussion, is that, well, I'll get into more details on that in a moment, because, yeah, as soon as you're able to realize about the fact that once you've captured every single monkey in each stage, basically you do have the ability to able to play the time attack mode, which I'll save that particular mode for one of those extra videos, just because about the fact the matter is, though, is about the fact that I need to, like, focusing on just capturing monkeys and also getting those Specter Coins respectively, just to make sure it makes the actual process a bit more steady for me, so... And now let's head back into Dark Ruins, and so far we're only missing, I would say 7 monkeys, and I think we've only missing 3 Specter Coins, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're actually missing quite a ton of stuff in here. Although, to be fair though, we actually did decently as far as, you know, Dark Ruins are concerned. Well, mind you about the fact that there are still some missing, well, there are certain gadgets that we can now finally utilize by making the actual stage a total cakewalk by using propeller and all that stuff. Oh, and I should also mention about this is the fact that unlike the PSP version, where basically though, as you notice, that on the PlayStation 1 version, or the PS4 or PS5 versions, depending on what specific version you play, basically you can able to equip 4 gadgets in not only on Ape Escape 1, but also Ape Escape 2 and Ape Escape 3. Whilst compared to the PSP remake of the first game, you only equipped 3 gadgets, whilst the 4th button, which is the X button, can only be used as to jump. So, because unlike the PlayStation 1 version, and wow, that enemy right there to somehow knock me into the actual entrance of that, you know, the actual loading screen transition. So that's a sight to behold, I guess. But then again though, the only thing I don't like about the forms of the PSP remake as much as the PS1 version is that, well, there's a lot of loading screens, which I can assure to you because about the fact that, well, it runs on the UMD, so I'm guessing it's like one of the first early PSP games to able to utilize a lot of loading screens for that matter. But either way though, it has been a very long while since I actually used my PSP, since when I managed able to play Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi Tag Team on my own time, which I did have a lot of fun with it. Well, hopefully I was able to do that Let's Play eventually though, I'm not exactly 100% sure about it, but either way though, time will tell as far as what Maxi has already mentioned about during the course of the Donkey Kong 64 Let's Play. Oh, and speaking of Donkey Kong 64 though, that's at this point in time is the fact that hopefully he was able to finish up completely of Gloomy Galleon before he moves on to the next world, for I've noticed. So either way though, that it's actually getting a little bit more promising as far as this is concerned. So anywho, so let's go ahead and change gadgets for a little bit, because obviously one of the monkeys utilizes the well, obviously we need to able to use the slingshot, and we have a nice little fun time on the slide as we go. So, and I think, relatively speaking, I think we've only got one more Specter Coin left, and on top of that, 4 more monkeys to capture. So yeah, we are definitely very close to finish up this particular stage. So again, I do apologize if my commentary is a little bit hiccupy at this point, because, well, apart from the fact that, well, I've already mentioned quite a lot of stuff during the course of in last Thursday, that it's very sad that Crash on the Run, that the actual service is about to end, which I know it seems kind of sucks for most people out there, especially considering about the fact that that game has been got its pretty good downloading rates. Like, as a result, that game does receive for about 60 million downloads, which is actually pretty good. So it's a bit of a shame that that game is going to be gone for good. Like, not so good whatsoever. Well, the only time I do manage to able to play the game is when the actual game came out in Journey Forms of in 2021, but for whatever reason, I just somehow managed to able to stop playing. Like, I have no idea why, but I'm guessing it's probably because of the stupid waiting times during the forms of the cooldown periods for you know what I mean about the fact that with the microtransactions come into play. But either way though, I just have no idea why I somehow stopped playing it just before the actual service is closing down for the actual game itself, which as a result, I get it because they want to move on to other Crash Bandicoot projects, specifically Crash Team Rumble, which I've honestly have no idea when that game is gonna able to become like either digital only or physically and digital download versions of the game. But either way, though, we'll have to wait and see what happens, and during possibly at some point during the forms of later on this year. So either way, that might actually give us hope for physical runs for or physical releases for Crash Team Rumble, but I don't know if that might actually be released on the Switch yet. So, but time will tell. Time will tell. Also, if you fell down there, that's a bottomless pit. So, you have to be very cautious about this particular section right here. But yeah, the next thing I want to mention while this is happening is that I can't even believe it's been about a year ago since when, well, better late than never, I suppose, when it comes to mentioning about this, especially because I believe Mighty and Ray, and on top of that, Maxi has also forgotten to mention about during the course of being a Mario Slam Basketball Let's Play, alongside with Donkey Kong 64 Let's Plays. That's basically though is the fact that it's been about a year ago since when Pokemon Legends Arceus came out on the Nintendo Switch. At least that for most Pokemon fans out there seem to really enjoy that title. Well, I didn't get the game on day one though, because I'm really not in the actual Pokemon fanatic, I must be honest here, or a massive Pokemon master or anything else like that, because there are a few times though, shoot. I suppose it doesn't matter though, because after all we actually got about, how much lives we got? Okay, so we got 16, so at least it's like, alright and such. Although, for whatever reason, whenever I managed able to play... Oh. Ah, there's the next monkey right there. I'm pretty sure the next monkey did somehow spawned in or something. Well, at least it's more accurately a different monkey, not just the exact same monkey to capture. So, hopefully we'll try to capture him. So, anywho, but I digress. So, the next thing I want to mention though is the fact that, well, I suppose that there are certain announcements that it already came up with in terms of the forms of the actual the presentation thing. That's what Maxi has already on about during the course of a Donkey Kong 64 Let's Play. That despite the fact that he hasn't mentioned that much though, just because he's got distracted by the forms of that particular... Well, he did mention one thing, which is of course Minecraft Legends, and that game is about to be out at some point in the 18th of April this year. Well, usually for the sake of time though, I think it's going to be only on Xbox systems for a while. Likely also for the sake of the forms of, you know, Minecraft Legends. So yeah, it's going to be on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S. So either way though, I'm not exactly sure if the Switch version is going to be a thing yet, but again, time will tell for the sake of the actual releases for different systems for that part. So anyway, so now we've actually captured that monkey over there. So I believe we'll now try to find the final monkey on this level, and then every once in a while we will be able to actually, well, as far as levels, as far as, you know, revisits as far as I'm concerned, I will try my best able to complete most of it. Not all of it though, just because there are a few times though that the actual level's length might feel to be a little bit more lengthy, so... And this is what the magic punch should come into play for this particular section. And in fact, this particular section does remind me of something related to Banjo-Kazooie in Mumbles Mountain, except the fact that we have to use the magic punch, and also we're using the PlayStation controller as opposed to the N64 controller. So in some cases though, the last monkey is going to be inside in this little gravestone, whatever this thing is. And that should do it for Dark Ruins. So, nicely done. Despite the fact that I did somehow die from the likes of the forms of this unexpected alive statue thing. But hey, at least I don't mind about it too much, so... And I think we've only got one more level to go for the second era to be completed before we move on to, well, something related to, I don't know what you would call it. Because again, it's been 5 days since I actually last played this, so... So yeah, I don't think we can hardly doubt that we will be able to complete this game by the end of this month. But hopefully at some point in February that we will able to actually complete the game no matter what. So, before we move on to the next couple of Let's Plays, so yeah. Looks like we actually slowly get some progressioning for its percentage completionist, I suppose. And so far we're actually on 17 lives, so I think that'll be a plentiful of lives from now on. Especially that, thankfully for me though, that the PlayStation 1 version of Ape Escape is actually very generous with extra lives for me. Whilst compared to whenever I do somehow manage to play the PSP version on my own time, for the love of God, I feel like that the PSP version is more accurately the hard mode of the original game in my opinion, just because... Well, I just have no idea why. Probably because about the fact that I'm more used to the PlayStation version a lot more. And it's, on top of all that stuff though, you have less buttons to work with on the PSP version. So, alright, so there's the next monkey right there. So, after all, it does have 1 speed, 1 attack, and 1 alert. According to the actual bars, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, we're going on to the forms of the actual cryptic relics level. So yeah, this will be the last time we're going to be visiting those particular levels at this point. Well, technically, if you're really very curious, if you really want to try out time attack mode, but honestly folks, I don't know if this might be actually be, well, it's mandatory if you really want to go for 100% completion, but I just feel like that when it comes to time attack modes, I don't feel like trying to include this on this Let's Play, well, for obvious reasons. For number one though, I'm pretty sure that what Time Attack does is that you go for the exactly the same stage as before, except the entire objective in order to actually get your time record for your Time Attack mode is the fact that you have to capture every single monkey throughout the whole level. And let me tell you, with certain stages like Specter Land or Crumbling Castle, or heck, even especially noticeable with TV Tower as well, my god, those levels will be a marathon of any sort. Especially that I highly doubt, I don't think I could probably do it. And two, similar to the forms of how it does it when I do sometimes experience time trial relics for the Crash Bandicoot games, including Crash Bandicoot 4, that basically though, it is so dang hard to actually get the best results. Specifically with the platinum relics or the gold relics. At least I found the gold relics are kind of manageable to actually achieve them, whilst the forms of the platinum relics are for bragging rights for the past Crash Bandicoot games for sure. Whilst unlike Crash 4, the ending is locked out behind the platinum relics, which is super ridiculous if you ask me. Although sure, this game does have the actual the medal system. Like, you do get 3 different medals. There's the gold and silver and bronze medals. So, but then again though, I'll show that particular Time Attack briefly once we're able to actually completely done with the game, and also at the same time showing off some extras of how this game offers us to. So, although it might not necessarily be that much though. Well, aside from the fact that we'll show off some mini-games here and there, just to show you guys what these mini-games are. But I will have to admit though right away is the fact that I actually really enjoyed the main game more than the forms of the mini-games themselves, because unlike in Super Monkey Ball games, I simply enjoy the party games a lot more. Well, usually I have some fun with the main game too, but it's just about the fact that something to do with the replayability just makes the actual Monkey Ball series truly shines. Especially that if you're getting sick of the forms of some frustration during the course of other levels in Super Monkey Ball 1 or 2, basically you can take your time off and spend some time with your friends or family to play some multiplayer in the likes of the party games menu. So, you know, think of like you can able to have an enjoyable time with Monkey Race or Monkey Fight or Monkey Target essentially, then by all means you're able to actually have some time with it. I don't think that this game doesn't seem to have multiplayer functions, although I'm pretty sure it does, thanks to the forms of why I haven't checked the back of the cover of the game, but I'm pretty sure it does have a 2-player option for the sake of the forms of the mini-games themselves. So, whilst I don't know about the forms of the PSP version, because I haven't exactly got to that point on the PSP version. So, speaking of the PSP version though, what I've noticed is the fact that whenever I do manage to play the game on my own time for a bit, that I swear to God, whatever I do manage to do Jake Attacks Part 2, in some cases though, it's just the, well, the second Buzz or Jake race and stuff like that. For love of God, on the PSP version, it's actually 10 times as harder than the forms of how it does it on the PlayStation 1 version, which I honestly have no idea why that I managed able to bring this up. But I highly doubt, I don't know if we can able to actually do the PSP version of the game, but let me know in the comments down below of would you like me to able to do the PSP version of Ape Escape at some point? Because I'll let you guys know about it, especially that, despite the fact that I still haven't completed the PSP version yet, but I will do at some point once I finish up with this game, so. But so far I'm actually having a bit of a okay time at the moment on the PSP version, despite its very, weird controls and stuff like that. But regardless of such though, it's just about the fact that it might take me a bit of some time to get used to, so. And also I'm just somehow, for whatever reason, just wandering around like nothing else in Cryptic Relics so far. But that's only mainly because I was able to try to utilize the Monkey Radar to make things a bit easier for ourselves. But it turns out I think I get the strong sense of feeling that I somehow accidentally ignored this particular entrance right there. So yeah, that was entirely my fault. Especially because, well, remember that particular one area that we've technically already experienced, for the sake of the forms of whenever we first got there. But then we found out we do need a specific gadget in order able to make it happen. So now we've actually got ourselves the RC car with us. So that means we can able to actually capture this monkey over there. So anyway, so let's go ahead and switch over the different gadget. Just to ensure that, excuse me, that gosh darn enemy just somehow surprise attack on me. Oh well, no big deal. So anyway, the next thing that when it comes to the Xbox Direct presentation they did somehow revealed, that is the fact that they revealed the next installment of Forza. So in some cases though, they revealed Forza Motorsport. So in some cases though, it's about to due out at some point in this year. And I think it's going to be only exclusive to not only for PC, but also Xbox Series X/S. So yeah, I don't think it's probably going to be on Xbox One, just because of the forms of the actual graphics standpoints. So yeah, I can totally see why that's going to be on Xbox Series X or PC exclusive. So anyway, the next thing they did revealed is the forms of Hi-Fi Rush, which from the look of the actual presentation of the game, it does look pretty spectacular to look at least as far as I'm concerned. Although obviously from the actual in-game standpoint, when it comes to likely for its cinematic scenes or something like that, they basically use the cel-shaded graphics. So as a result, it does look pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And for the release of that game has recently just came out for about 6 days ago. So yeah, and it's also going to be on exclusive to not only on PC, but also Xbox Series X/S. So yeah, that seems kind of a surprise moment right there. The next thing they did revealed is the forms of the new updates for the sake of the forms of the Elder Scrolls Online. Even though I haven't exactly got commented on it, just because, well, that's as far as I can say about it. Anyways though, and I suppose the last thing they did show us is the forms of Redfall, and that's going to be due out until the 2nd of May this year, which means it's roughly about 10 days before The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to be releasing on the Switch. Mind you, about the fact that Redfall is going to be coming out also on PC Steam, and so applies the forms of the Epic Store. And heck, let's not forget ourselves with the Xbox Game Pass, and finally with the forms of Xbox Series X/S. So yeah, not much else to add around here, despite the fact that I was expecting to see something more, but then I found out that they just got a bare minimum amount of content, so they just shown us a little amount of content, so oh well, I just want to mention about that, just in case if I weren't able to recap on, you know, tons of announcements alike, so either way, that's saying something. Oh, and also short things worth noting for, unfortunately though, we've only just got about 2 months left until the eShop between the 3DS and the Wii U is about to shut down, so yeah, it's obviously not looking very good at this point. Which is especially true about the fact that for those of you die-hard Pokemon fans out there, well, basically, it's the fact that you can no longer get quite a few Pokemon titles from digital services, like, you know what I mean, the Game Boy Pokemon games, and the Game Boy Color Pokemon games, and you know what I mean, the microtransactions for certain Pokemon titles. But either way, it seems, you know, time's running low, so yeah, it's kind of depressing to able to see that coming, huh? Actually, as it turns out, is the fact that the actual Specter Coin in this particular level is actually quite well hidden. But if you do manage to find it, well, I almost assume, but if I managed to first got there, then I almost assumed that if I dare fall off with that particular, trap floors here and there, I almost first thought that was going to be a bottomless pit, but it turns out it was actually a safe zone, so yeah, I wasn't expecting that. So anyway, the next thing I want to mention is that there is this random cartoon is going to be on its way on Apple TV Plus, which appears to be the Frog and Toad, or just literally calls it Frog and Toad. So Not exactly sure why I managed able to bring this out, but either way. Now I suppose the last thing I want to mention though, in regards to the forms of this particular discussion about, while I just gonna have to able to get not only just one Specter Coin, but something tells me about the fact that I do need to still capture some more monkeys here and there, so... And yeah, don't trust able to actually go even further, because obviously that's a bottomless pit, so you will die automatically if you do so, Alright, so, and I think the next monkey should be up here, despite my jumps wasn't nearly as high, but at least we did somehow surround him and capture that monkey in the process, so we'll just use the propeller again and make our way to, well, fight against with that particular UFO contraption again for that particular monkey over there, so something tells me I do need the slingshot, so... Anyway, so the last thing I want to mention though is the fact that apparently though this will be a sad news for the sake of the forms of the Uncharted series. Well, basically though is the fact that Naughty Dog is basically done with Uncharted, so yeah, it seems to be pretty sad, especially because they want to move on to the next fewer franchises as far as I'm aware. Specifically, The Last of Us and all the other stuff, which I totally get it because about the fact that The Last of Us games is actually getting a lot more popular. Well, especially concerning about the fact that recently we've got the PlayStation 5 remake of the original game. So, yeah, I wasn't exactly, surprised about that. But either way, though, that might be saying something, so... Alright, so now we've actually done with that particular level, so I think I might as well able to say this right now. I think I might as well do one more level before I end off the video, just to ensure that we'll be able to actually catch up on certain amount of stuff. So 66.7, at least as far as percentage meter as far as I'm concerned. But either way, and yeah, as you probably already know, that we've immediately unlocked the, well, we technically already unlocked the third and the final minigame in the entire game. So, but then again, we'll show that off at some point on the extras, so... Anyways, we'll just do one more level, and that pretty much does it for this video. So, only 3 monkeys to capture, and I just realized I've accidentally ignored the actual Specter Coin in this level, so hopefully we'll definitely gonna have to grab that for now, so we'll potentially try to able to make our way to, well, obtain that, so, and yeah, we can't able to reach up there because it's way too high, unless there's actually a special path that we can able to actually go into, so, well, assuming if I, of course, managed able to explore certain spots throughout the level, so, but, yeah, I think that's as far as I can say about the forms of today's discussion, apart from the fact that, well, by that time it's on the 1st of February, which was tomorrow. Basically, what that means is the fact that, well, I'm pretty sure we're actually on to the second half of, you know what I mean, with the Winter Tour in Mario Kart Tour, despite what Maxi has already mentioned about during the course of in a Donkey Kong 64 Let's Play. Unfortunately, though, we might as well get screwed over by the forms of the stupid tier system, so... Which, this also means that we can no longer get Orange Bodo, and on top of that, Orange Bodo Turbo Kart, and it's so ridiculous at this point. Although, thankfully, at the very least, we actually got Luigi Vacation outfit for the sake of the forms of one of those Luigi cosmetic characters and all that stuff, so... I think, relatively speaking, though, is the fact that as far as the actual levels we actually did done, for this video anyway, we did somehow manage to experience 5 levels in one video, so I don't know if I'm also able to continue to do that. Well, hopefully I'm also do so anyway, for the sake of the forms of the later parts throughout this entire Let's Play, just before whenever we save Spectre Land for last. Because, well, I think something tells me about the fact that, well, despite the fact that, relatively speaking though, that Spectre Land does manage to contain a lot, I mean a lot of monkeys to capture for, But as a result of that kind of stuff, though, I think I'm also able to mention more about it until whenever we get to that point. And, oh, that stupid little coconut-looking enemy just keeps on getting my way. But either way, though, we're just gonna have to able to use the stun club from now on, just to ensure that we will able to deal with those enemies and all that stuff. So, and yeah, this thing doesn't seem to activate. Well, at least presumably that it allows me to able to actually just, you know, climb up onto... I honestly have no idea why I just say things like that, because, well, at this point in time, folks, I think that's as far as I can talk about. Well, at least for the most part, when it comes to, like, revisited certain levels, that for the majority of certain levels are pretty long and lengthy. Well, so I have to admit, though, right away, is that between the previous level we've already did, alongside with this level, despite I'm wasting time exploring, well, at least for the most part, it actually goes very, very quickly. So, yeah, that might be some consumption. So, anyway, so we'll just go ahead and search for the next monkey to capture. So, it's gonna be this section right here, I just realized. So, because obviously, remember when my first experience of this level, that we somehow managed able to skip this particular section due to the fault of how much, oh, nice! Thankfully, we did somehow stun that particular monkey just before he goes onto a UFO contraption right here, so... And it looks like we've only got one more monkey left to capture, which I'm sure enough it surely has to be something to do with the actual propeller gadgets that we can able to equip. So hopefully we're able to backtrack for a bit, but of course, first off, I got myself my extra life, so thankfully though, we don't think we can probably get a game over anytime for this point, especially that, well, thankfully though, during the course of it, you remember how the forms have been the second half of Specter Land level, that basically though is the fact that thankfully the extra lives do respawn every time you die, because of the forms of that very weird object holding the extra life for us. Every time whenever you keep on dying a lot or anything else like that, well, that'll be handy though. Although, I highly doubt on the, whenever I go back onto the PSP version of the game, that I'm pretty sure it might do the same thing. Like, if I somehow keep on getting screwed over on the PSP version of the game, well, simply put, it's just about the fact the matter is though, it's just, well, I just find the controls in the PSP version to be extremely weird at times. But I don't know, I actually have my, honest opinion taste, I suppose, but... Anyway, as far as saying goes, I think that's about it basically, so... Just gonna make sure if there are certain areas I have checked, just to ensure, because either way though, it does kind of remind me of the forms of like I was experiencing, I don't know. It's been a very long while since I actually tried to mention something like this, but hey. Alright, so we'll just, skip that section for now, and yeah, I don't think there's anything else in here, so don't worry folks, whenever we get to the previously visited levels though, likely also until Dexter's Island, and especially notable with Monkey Hot Springs, hopefully though I should be able to make this process a bit faster, especially considering about the fact that, well, that's all I can say about it. So anyways, I think we're basically done in here. So yeah, now let's go ahead and go after that one last monkey somewhere over towards that particular section I was on about. So, but again, the propeller gadget needs to be required, by the way, in order to be able to proceed to this section. So, well, assuming if I jump out of the water, and also just, well, I think I should probably skip those cookies for now on, because I'm pretty sure I might be alright with this, with only 3 units of health. So hopefully we'll propel ourselves all the way up, and capture this last monkey in this level, and, well, there we go. Whew.
Well done.
At least it's not too bad though, despite the fact that I just keep on wandering around like nothing else during the course of about a few seconds ago. But anyway, that basically does it for this level, so... And I'm presuming that we actually gone to the point where I think we're actually now on the halfway point when it comes to capturing the remaining monkeys for sure. But either way though, I honestly have got no words to able to say about this at this point, but... Either way, let's go ahead and save our game quickly, just to ensure that we will get our memory card saved before my recording session just somehow almost gonna get glitched up. Which, so far it doesn't. So, anyways, let's save my game here. And we actually on to 68.2%. So, not too shabby. So, I suppose we're gonna have the endings of this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Ape Escape. It's the fact that we're gonna have to go into Dexter's Island, and eventually some more levels where it comes to likely go to revisit and capture some more monkeys and collect some more Specter Coins as well. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Later, fellas.